The Headliner. With Elliot Friedman. Brought to you by Ford. Built for life in Canada.
Back in our first intermission, Vancouver up 2-0 in San Jose. And Elliot, you have to hand it to Dave Nonis. The Canucks began the season with 13 new faces in the lineup. But in terms of being a Canuck, they had Oland and Morrison, Naslund. But I think really the face of Vancouver is Trevor Linden.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, Ron. Still arguably the most popular player in franchise history. And when they came in this year, I don't think there was anybody who could have expected that they would be 40 minutes away in Game 81 of the season from clinching a division championship. But that's where they are now, and Linden is as rejuvenated as anybody else is.
There's a pass for Daniel to Linden. He scores! He comes in front of the net. Good! Beauty by Trevor Linden.
From the moment Trevor Linden showed up at training camp this season, people noticed a difference. Determined to come back from the least productive season of his career, he's made a much bigger impact. There are two reasons: his own mindset and the team's improvements.
Well, I think every team has an opportunity. You know, you go through a phase where you have a chance, and we didn't capitalize on our chances if you look at 03 and 04. And unfortunately we faltered pretty badly last year, missed the playoffs, and changes had to come. And I think the important thing is we brought in some very good people. If you look at Roberto and a guy like Willie Mitchell has really solidified things and really changed the dynamic in our locker room, which has been positive.
I know you don't like talking about the PA, but there are people out there who think that now that you're not a member of the board anymore, it's eased your mind a lot and improved your play.
It's possible. I think the year of the lockout was a difficult one. Probably, I think as an athlete, as a hockey player, you're used to that physical tiredness. You accept that. You're used to it. I think the thing that was so I was so unaccustomed to is that brain drain, and just it never left you. I think that whether I was driving the car or just hanging out at home, you're always thinking about things. So it was a tiring time. I'm not going to I didn't have a great season last year. I'm not going to fully place that on the lockout, but you could say that it was a bit of a factor, and I wouldn't deny that.
Last month when Detroit was out here, you had a chance to talk with Chris Chelios. Did the two of you resolve your differences?
Well, I think, we had a conversation. I don't think we'll ever agree on things. I think, I understand his position. I think he probably understands where I'm coming from. And, so whether it was productive or not is I don't know how important that is.
He turns 37 Wednesday. It's been 18 years since he made the Canucks the #2 pick in '88. We've seen Linden grow up on our television sets. People who've known him for that long, like former captain Stan Smeel, say he hasn't changed at all. Linden disagrees.
When I look back, you always get better perspective now, but you come in and at 18 and, you want to be mature. I think that, I look at times maybe took on a little too much, when I think back to when I was 26, 27. But, you live and learn. You learn throughout your 20s, and you look back and say, boy, I wish I would have done things differently, but that's kind of the way it is.
I'm curious, is there an example of something you wish you could have done differently?
I think just taking a little too much responsibility on. You try to be responsible and do the right thing, and I think as a young guy, putting that, coming in at a young age, I feel much more youthful now, and that I enjoy the game more now than I did at 27, 28. And I kind of regret that a little bit, but, that's just the place you're in at the time. And I think I'm better at dealing with when things don't go right.
It's interesting to hear you say that, because this year, at one time, there was a point where Alain Vigneault benched you, and I wonder if you handled it a lot better because of that change in attitude.
Yeah, actually 2 games. Although they were both for rest purposes, but I wasn't buying that. But no, I think I think that's probably an example. Obviously, when I didn't play in Edmonton the first time, it was a tough day. I sat in Edmonton Mall and drank coffee on a couch watching people go by, and it was a kind of a surreal moment. I played close to 1,300 games and never not played a game because of obviously injury and stuff. But so it was a tough day. But at the same time, I look forward to getting back at it the next day and working my way back in the lineup.
Linden won't discuss it, but the sense is there's no way he could consider retiring after such a positive year. He will say one thing: it's the Canucks or no one.
I made that pretty much clear last year. I had some opportunities to go elsewhere, but I can't see myself playing anywhere else, and it's not a situation where I'd really go out and seek, so I don't see that happening.
Ron, his playing time is up a minute over last year, and you can see that this is a guy who is prepared to have an impact as the Canucks go to the playoffs.